When footsteps fall in eldritch hollows, and spectres flee into the shadows, that is the time when horror's heroes abound, culling the ghouls that go bump in the night.
What is up, all of you beautiful people? Welcome from the heart of Lovecraft country, in the birthplace of American religious liberty. My name is Shanth Enjeti. This is Shanth Enjeti Art, and we're going to be painting horror's heroes today, as we do every stream, or most every stream. It is great to see you guys. I know it has been a minute. I want to say hello. Wow, so let's see what's been going on. Well, besides the fact that I've been burning the midnight oil and working on just a ton of stuff 24 hours a day. I don't know when the last time I kept a regular schedule is. But my two kids are home from college, so I've been enjoying having them around, which has been great. But I've missed you guys, so I wanted to fire up a stream and let me see who we've got here in the chat. It's great to see you guys. Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday in your neck of the woods. We got Mo Biggs first and foremost in the chat. It is great to see you, Mo Biggs. We've got Apex Comics here. Apex Comics, it's great to see you. We've got my man, Stephen Rockwood is in the house. The first channel member. Brother, how are you doing? How goes art, my friend? Let's see here. Michelle Bowers is here. It's great to see you, Michelle. How are you doing? Paulus Arts is here. Again, fantastic to see you, Paulus Arts. I hope you are doing well. Thank you for posting the links to Nosfero's Second Chance campaign and also for getting a Nosfero t-shirt. I appreciate that very much, my friend. Let's see. We've got Sark here. What's up, Sark? How are you doing, my friend? And, of course, Awesome One in the house. Awesome One. It is great to see you. Merry Christmas to you, my friend. Yeah, I definitely have been feeling the Christmas spirit. I've been, it's great to have the family back in the house. We have our tree up, and I've been sitting here watching HD Trains, as I'm sure you would guess that I have been. And I have been painting like crazy and drawing like crazy. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, I don't want to bounce myself into this. See if I can get that at a decent angle there. There we go. Into my camera there. Every time I reach to look at the chat. But it's great to see you. And then let's see what else we got. They already flunked out. Yeah, they did. They flunked out. It's, you know, I blame the parents, Stephen Rockwood. I blame the parents. Yep, they flunked out of college. Apex Comic Shanth and Enjeti Art, I hope to come on your stream sometime to promote Fembat, if that's okay. Well, I don't know what the, oh, Apex Comics, I'm so glad to hear that. You enjoyed Nosfero. Somebody, do we know, where is Fembat? Somebody post a link to it for people to check out. If people have not checked out Fembat yet, go check it out. And Apex Comics, it's great to have you here, man. So yeah, so they came home from school, which is of course great. I've been missing them like crazy. The last time I saw my son was when I was dropping him off at school. So seeing him was fantastic. I gotta change my setup. You can tell I haven't done this in a minute. And I've been going through all sorts of stuff, trying to get, you know, all the books and things organized with the Christmas stuff and everything like that. And I've been working on Spring Ball like crazy. So working on Spring Ball has been really exciting. But I'm going to try to make sure that I am just getting it ready for the campaign launch. And I'm not trying to do all of it before the launch. Because one of the things I've been trying to remind myself of as far as crowdfunding goes is that we're crowdfunding the making of these books. And it's crazy because sometimes I'll just get myself into a zone where I'm just trying to figure these things out and work them together, and I forget that that's a part of it, is the funding of making the book. So that's been something I've been looking to do, you know. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to read that. Is it Hatred? Is that what it is? Hopefully. And if not, I feel like it would be, is that a beaver? Beaver related, perhaps? And X, good to see you. That's right. I forgot. This is my first comment I've seen in a minute from X. Yeah. Oh, excellent. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Yes, get back into painting. Awesome One's got it. There's Fembat on Fund My Comic. You know what's so funny is I had the opportunity, because I've been trying to like figure out what I want to do with Spring Ball, to go back and look at some of those early logo works I did for that site, and it was so fun because it's great to see those guys doing well and seeing people, go and check it out. It's a lot that they're doing over there, and it was fun to kind of get to reach out to them with that logo and sort of say, hey guys, maybe this would be cool, and all of that stuff. So yeah, man, always just trying to make sure. Just want to see if I'm getting this in there right. Always trying to make sure that if I have a chance to do something, or if I have a thought to do something that I think might help, just to go ahead and make sure I do it, because it's responding to those kinds of impulses takes you places that you wouldn't normally think it might, and that's frankly how so much of everything that's happened in Comicsgate has gone about. But yeah, I've been looking at Spring Ball and breaking down some of the things I want to change and the layouts and adjusting things, because Spring Ball is such a sorry, hold on a second. I have an urgent message from Stephen Rockwood here. Hang on a second. There you go, brother. I got you, dog. So there you go. Yes. Oh, gotcha. Oh, Buc-ee's. That's right. Oh, yeah. I know all about Buc-ee's. I've learned a great deal about Buc-ee's lately, but I guess I'm going to keep that to myself. But it is great to have you in the chat. Yeah, Stephen Rockwood knows. He knows how to represent. It's good to see you, my friend. Yeah, and it's a fascinating thing for me when I'm doing this kind of work, and I'm looking at what I want to do with Spring Ball. It's the thing I've realized about. Let me see if I'm on frame there. The thing I've realized about digital as I've been working is that one of the things I love about it is, when I'm tackling something in the style of Spring Ball, what I get to do is I get to treat it like I'm painting. Hold on a second, guys. I got to figure out this camera setup because you guys can see it okay, but I can't see what I'm painting, which is one of the great difficulties of camera setups when you do traditional media. So I'm looking through my ring light, and when I'm doing that, and I'm either looking through my ring light or I'm sorry about that, guys. Looking through my ring light and I can't see what I'm painting. So I got to get a good angle going here. Okay, that's pretty good. That'll do. Make comic books great again. Hi, Shanth. How are you doing? Great to see you. Yes, indeed. Oh, real painting is the best. Well, that's cool. I'm glad to hear you think so, Apex. That's fantastic. Yeah, Buc-ee's is great. I've not been to a Buc-ee's, but I'm hoping to go to one soon. Yeah, what's fun about doing this stuff, and especially the stuff I'm trying right now with Ecamm and my new camera setup, is I'm going to try to make sure I can get you guys. Let me see if I can do it with this here. One sec. Let's see here. Let me adjust the gamma just a little bit on this. What's better? I just want to make sure that you guys are getting the best possible picture of what I'm doing. Is that with this particular setup and with the way that Ecamm works, I can get you guys the best resolution I can do, so you can really see the paper texture and see how I'm working. And that's kind of the fun thing for me. And it's wild because right now, working on Spring Ball in its first issue, I've been really trying to push the kind of playfulness of the poses and the figure, and kind of giving it that nice, old school Todd McFarlane, just anatomy and playfulness, but also some of those beautiful early Image Comics colors by Steve Oliff. So I'm just pushing everything, the lettering and all that stuff together. And at the same time, one of the biggest things I've been working on is also working on the sequel, to Nosfero. So I've got, all these different projects that are going, which is great. And, but I mean, I've put in probably 30 or 40 hours on Spring Ball just trying to solve certain things I wanted to solve, because it's just a lot more intuitive the way I'm working right now. I mean, I've learned a lot, guys. Oh, I want to talk about Dale Keown in a second. Remind me, Timmy Mello, my man, is in the house. It's good to see you, brother. Merry Christmas. I hope you are doing well, my friend. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, you will never see Rembrandt pointing and clicking. It's true. It's very true. Oh, your mother was an artist. She taught me art history. My father created jewelry. I was raised by hippies. Understood, my friend. Yeah, there's an experience that is very difficult to describe or to convey, of when you have a comic book that you did in 2002, where it was stored on zip disks, Then it was moved to CDs for storage. Then it was moved over to DVD-Rs for storage. And then you open those files up into Photoshop. It is something. Oh my gosh. Well, no, Dale's digital paintings are absolutely beautiful. Yeah, he can do it. Man, Dale can do so many amazing things. His color theory is great. But I can only imagine what it's like for Dale to have, the PIT files, the computer files from 1995 or 6 or whenever, or 4. I mean, guys, it is like, my wife came over and she saw me working on Spring Ball and she goes, "So, I'm watching you work on Spring Ball and I had a question." And I said, "Yeah?" She goes, "Hey, Cranberry Lancers, it's great to see you, brother. Good evening and Merry Christmas to you, man." And she goes, "Are you basically redrawing the whole thing?" And I go, "More or less, I'm having to rework most of it to get it to look sharp and to get it to look clean." And that is the thing that is insane. Spaceman is here. It's great to see you, Spaceman. How are you doing? Skeleton Core Comics. It's great to see you. Oh, thank you so much, Skeleton Core Comics. I appreciate you saying so, man. So it is a lot. And when you think about, I'm doing this one issue at a time so I can crowdfund the work on it. But when you think about, Pit and the intricate detail and the way that all that stuff comes together, we're looking at files that are ancient. And even if you had scans of the originals, even if you had black and whites, if you were attempting to line up the color, on the digital with new scans or the line artwork, it's a incredibly laborious job. And so working on Spring Ball and basically reworking it and remastering it at the same time is a tremendous, tremendous challenge. Because, when I did Spring Ball, I penciled, inked it, hand lettered it, colored it in Photoshop, and then sent those large files to a printer. And this was probably before, I know this was before InDesign. So this was during the time of Quark. If you guys remember Quark, that program, and that bit of software. And so they laid it out for me. So I didn't even know how to do any of that stuff. And I think it was at the original artwork size, and it was at 175 DPI maybe. So it wasn't even that high resolution. So I had to scale it down, make it 400 DPI, and then work into it. And that's why it's going to look as good as it does. But that's the work we're going to be crowdfunding for. But it has just been a crazy process, guys. It has been such a crazy process, and that's why I understand when, people were talking about, looking at old files of any work, what's involved in trying to get it cleaned up and get it ready for what you want it to look like if you want it to pass for today's standards. I was looking at some of the pages in some of my Marvel Omnibus and even some of the Spawn hardcover large books. In some instances, the resolution just goes, man. It absolutely is not that good. And it's one of those things that you have to really, put in a ton of work to get it remastered. And I just think that almost the artist has to almost go back and try to interpret what they were doing when it sort of gets reduced like that. But, I'm looking at this stuff now in incredibly high resolution. And I'm looking at the colors I did. I'm adjusting the palettes. And I just know so much more. I actually taught myself how to do Photoshop coloring Spring Ball. So when you see Spring Ball, any of you guys who've been lucky enough to track down some of those copies of the first and second issue, when you guys get a hold of that, that stuff, that's the first time I used Photoshop, is on Spring Ball. So that's 2001 or 2 when I was doing the colors on that. And I'm dealing with printers. I'm dealing with Diamond Comics distribution. Gen X Catholic, my brother, how are you doing? Settling in with Dr. Oh, God bless you, man. You know what part of the country somebody's in whenever they say Dr. Pepper. You know, man. And God bless you, man. I love seeing Gen X represented, man, because I've been thinking a lot about being Gen X myself lately. So it's great to see you in the house, brother. Always great to see you, and Merry Christmas to you. I hope you're having a great one. And so, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where when I'm working on Spring Ball, the story, like things in it where I illustrated this not so savory character sitting at a computer. And I'm sure you guys know, it's a computer from 2001. I mean, it's a beige box, and I'm having to go back and rework that, man. It's crazy. Hey, Bruce Campbell's Chin, channel member. Good to see you, brother. How you doing? And we got Cranberry Langers here, another channel member. It's great to see you, man. Let me see if I got all my channel members here. I know Stephen Rockwood is in the house. I know Skeleton Core Comics is a channel member is here. Let's see who else. Who else am I missing? Let me make sure I got all my guys here. And Timmy Mello, of course. Yeah, Dale's a special dude, man. Dale is a special dude. He's got skills for days, man. Yeah, big respect for Dale. I just like yeah, I think one of the coolest things about what we're seeing Dale do right now, at least for me as an artist and as somebody who, you know, is a fan of great work, which I think undoubtedly you can't argue with the fact that Dale does incredible work, is that Dale, when you see the stuff that he did for Cecil, you saw the stuff that he did for Mandy, and of course the stuff he did, you know, for Shane and for John and Ethan, but particularly with new characters or characters where he's able to have fun and play. So it's like Mandy's got this character and he can kind of just go anywhere with it. And Cecil, of course, he's getting into the comedy thing. That's brought out some incredibly cool stuff from Dale. And that's what I used to love about indie comics. The Professor is here. The channel member man is here. It is great to see you, Antoine Dennison. Cheers to you, brother. I am thrilled to see you in the house. And a man called Plush is here. It's great to see you. Yes, indeed. The sun is shining. And Cranberry Langer celebrating 24 months as a channel member. 2 years. It feels like longer. I know exactly what you're saying. But let me get you a cheerleader while we do what we do, man.
Charge! Charge!
Hail, guys. It's a pleasure to see all of you guys. Yes, but the ice is slippery. My favorite shadow password. Man, I've been looking at the shadow a lot lately. I can't believe it's been 2 years, Cranberry Langers. My God, we've known each other a long time, man. But I was looking at, I don't think I can reach it without starting an avalanche, but I was looking at that shadow book, that 1941 that my brother did the colors on. And one of the cool things has been just, I talked to him a lot about art, and we've been having some really, you know, good conversations. Let me see if I can move this over here. There we go. But we've been having some really cool conversations about art and the things that we're doing, and he's just such a smart guy. I don't know where I would be without him, because he was asking me to help him on some project he was working on, and for a joke, I said, you know, kind of offhanded, although kind of serious. He said, "Dude, how do I repay you?" And I said, just paint me a landscape painting of Lovecraft Country." And then I sent him the thing I'd been working on, and he sent me a message back, and he goes, "What size you want it?" Which is cool. So I'm hoping at some point behind me here, where I've got the Muka stuff, to have an original landscape painting by my brother Nick, who, again, he was one of the colorists on Shadow 1941. Just a brilliant artist and painter. He's done some Conan artwork. He's done all kinds of stuff like that. And he's my brother, man. He's one of the first people thanked in my comics, always right underneath my wife and kids. So, hey, we've got a super chat for some brushes right here from Cranberry Langers. That's right. This is for pizza and a tiny gift. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it. Well, it looks like we're raining cheerleaders, man.
Charge! Charge!
Hell, man, I appreciate it. Yeah, he's just a terrific dude, and he just I don't know, he kind of has kept me. I've known him now for, I want to say, maybe about 20 years or so, 24 years. God, when did I meet him? I think we might be at 20 years, actually, 20 or 21 years. I've known him since I started my professional teaching career. We used to carpool together and just have a laugh when we were making the commute into work and hanging out. It was great. And but he really was the person that I run things by, because he's so smart. He's very well read about things that I can kind of, you know, kick ideas back and forth with him about, well, I'm trying to analyze this historical things. Can you shoot holes in my theories? And he's like, that one, yes. That one, no. This one's really sound. I think that works. Don't think I've heard this one before. You might want to look at this person. And it's really useful. Really useful. Yep, keep them dames a-kicking, says Gen X Catholic. You know, brother. That's how we do it. Yep, brushes work too. Yep, that's how we do it. This is why I'm getting back into painting. The respect for other artists is amazing. It drives us. Yeah, you know what's funny is that I think that for me, there are so many artists that I have, so much respect for that keep me going. And I think one of the things that was some of the toughest times for me creatively were when I needed to find some new artists to be inspired by. And I have these conversations and we got to get a lesson in soon because I things have been crazy with the kids coming in town. But when I'm talking with my brother, Eric Weathers, who I've been doing some painting lessons with him, sort of showing him some traditional media stuff. When I hang out with him, a big thing about that, stuff has been, let me just see if I can move this. Can I get away with, if I move this laptop back just a little bit, move this down just a little bit. Can I give you guys a little bit of a better, it's a little too close because you won't see the context. Hang on a second. But when I'm working with him and I'm talking to him about all this stuff, I can't overstate how important it is to get artists in front of people because, there's a lot of artists that you haven't heard of and then you see their work for the first time and it's like, where has this been all my life? So when I was going back and I'm working on Spring Ball and even when I'm working on this, what's kind of amazing is I was already making references to Lovecraft in Spring Ball because, Spring Ball is very much Evil Dead meets Spider-Man is the best way I could put it. And it tackles, what I try to do is tackle some contemporary issues like those books did, contemporary crime and contemporary sort of stuff. But I try to do it in a way to where it's a lot more, I don't want to say allegorical, but it's not quite a metaphor either. I'm looking for something. But I try to do it more as an allegory, more of, I think you can put the pieces together. I think you're smart enough as an audience to put the pieces together of how this would work. Because one of the things that I think can make superhero books and artwork in general become a little bit staid and a little bit too didactic and a little bit too, too preachy is when people just tackle everything so completely literally. And I think that it makes it ties it to a particular temporal, period where it's the idea of, the origin stories of various superheroes. You can kind of apply them to different times. That's the mark of success for the power of the story. So I'm not that I'm comparing, by the way, but the more research I do into Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the more my mind is blown about how incredible of a work it is. It's craziness. Yeah. Let's see here. Hatred says, I want to keep saying haterade. I don't know why. It might be my dyslexia. It says, that's why I like watercolor. I'm allowed to be sloppy, but it works. Yeah. You can really play with watercolor and it's almost like what Bruce Lee said about being like the nature of water, is that it can flow. It can, take any form, and it can, it can erode rock. And it can break rock down, but it's like, and that's sort of the fun aspect of watercolor is what it can do and how well it moves. Like when I do little movements like that and sort of let the brush do what it's going to do and then let the water play, I sometimes see color events happen that I wouldn't have thought of putting in. And then once I see them, I go, okay, that's something I'm going to take forward with me through the rest of the painting. And you can see it right there, that kind of warm and cool, how that's working. That's an important part of it, Antoine Dennison says, Shant, I know I've asked you this a dozen times, but what is the board brand? Oh, board brand. My glasses fell off my nose, Antoine. You know how it goes. What is the board brand? I bought a few that were way too thick and textured. Oh, interesting. Too thick and textured. That sounds wild. I am using Crescent watercolor, I think it is, cold press illustration board. And I want to see, hang on a second, man. I should actually have this link. And oh, it's so great to see you guys. We got 36 people watching on X and watching on YouTube. And we've got, but how many have we got on YouTube? We have got, where are we? 18 watching and 16 likes. You guys are crushing it. Thank you, guys. Let me see if I can find this for you. Hang on a second. Shiitake mushrooms. Ah. Okay, let me see if I can find it here. Is this it right here? I wonder if this is it. I know I've bought it before, so it's got to be in there somewhere. Hang on one sec. I want to find this for you. I should have it copied somewhere because people ask me all the time. Okay. Alrighty. It's doing things. Now let me scale this. Sorry if this isn't thrilling TV, guys, but I do want to find this for my man here. Not there. Okay, it's got to be in this one. That's tracking. That's the tracking number. And there's the order. Damn. Yeah, it's Crescent watercolor board, but I'm not sure which one it is, and I can't find it in my files. But it's Crescent illustration board. I think it's Crescent illustration board cold press. Try that out and see if that's the one. I'm not exactly sure which one it is, but we'll get there. Let me see. There's crying going on there in the chat. I gotta check and see if everybody's all right. I see Awesome One crying. Let me see here. Let me see. Okay, let me catch up with the chat here. A story is good if it can be powerful across time and different societies. I 100% agree, Cranberry Langers. The crazy part is I'm colorblind. Yeah, actually, I have a friend who was red-green colorblind. Oh, cool. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro is doing Frankenstein. If you see his study, he's got paintings and sculptures of, yes, Edgar Allan Poe and Lovecraft on his walls. Actually, Antoine, I have, and I've actually seen his sculptures of them. They were in the Toronto show that I went to, and you can actually see, I have a video that's in a link in this stream. I put it in everywhere. There's a link to the Guillermo del Toro exhibit, so I actually got to see those. Yes, the excitement never ends. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Spaceman. Yeah, so I've been going for hikes when with Mrs. Enjetti, and she has always apparently wanted to go for hikes, and I did not know that. I grew up in Chattanooga, so we went for hikes all the time. And so we've been going and doing that. I got her some hiking boots and things like that. And so I've been taking her out for hikes. And while I was out there, it sort of dawned on me that I used to love this show from a very early age, which is the funniest part about this. I liked entertainment for old people from a very early age. And it was, I used to love watching CBS Sunday Morning with Charles Kuralt. And there was always this part where he'd go, "We leave you now with views of Monterey Bay, California, where the blah, blah, blah." And he would show you nature scenes. And they were a couple minutes long, but he was celebrating America. He was traveling across America and interviewing people and doing all of this stuff. But then he was also showing you how beautiful natural America was. And I thought, I'm doing these streams and these art streams and making my work from the heart of Lovecraft country. I should take a few minutes every time I go hiking with my wife just to shoot a little bit of footage and share it with you guys, because I think it's something nice that we can do, when we're doing our stuff, is just to kind of share, what goes on beyond the studio walls. And it's been really good for me, so I hope it's been good for you guys. Yeah, I like hiking too, absolutely. I lived in Monterey for a while. Beautiful area around there. Yes, it is. Same, those videos are chill. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, Timmy Miller. Yeah, I love that stuff. Love that stuff. And I'm excited about Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. I'm excited about this kind of sort of passion for gothic romance that seems like there's kind of almost like a new enthusiasm for it. And I think that it could be ground for great work. I'll say, though, the one thing that I really did not see happening, so only in Comicsgate, folks, it's the wildest thing. I did not see a revival of Spring Ball. And it's strange because Spring Ball is, he's in the superhero genre in a sense, but it's almost like it feels as though sometimes when things aren't, don't happen, or they don't find their audience, sometimes they're just waiting for the right time. And there's this weird thing that there's so many people who have just kept this book alive. I got a message totally by coincidence. Mr. Monkey Boy 1969, it's great to see you, my friend. I got a message totally by coincidence of that was from the very first big Spring Ball fan, a guy who's been writing me since 2002, asking me if I'm going to do anything with it. And I was like, yeah, I actually am, which was crazy. Yep. And that's where my children were born, man. So that blows my mind. Yes, indeed. Spring Ball's eternal. I love it. Gen X Catholic. we have a very similar sense of humor, man. I'm telling you. You got me, man. Oh, my Lord. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's the thing. I will tell you, I've been so swamped, but I was on I got to be on, hang out with, I hadn't hung out with them forever, but I got to hang out with Shane and Dale and Mandy and John recently on Mandy's closeout stream for Gemshock, which I thought I had backed, and I hadn't backed, so I was able to, remember to do that. And the thing I love about what happens in CG and what we do here is just I have laughed harder in Comicsgate than I think I've probably, it's not even close, than I laughed in the entirety of my academic career, if you don't count driving back and forth to work with my brother Nick. And it's great to laugh. It feels wonderful to laugh. And I'm so thankful for that. Because that's, I don't know, like I get so inspired by being around people talking about books. And, have you seen this movie? Like Antoine talking about, have you seen Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein? The dude they cast to play the monster for del Toro's Frankenstein looks like a young Boris Karloff. That dude's facial structure is Boris Karloff. So I hope he brings in the artist he typically hires and brings on to do creature stuff, which is, or to do some of the details of the creature stuff, which is an artist by the name of Mike Hill. I've actually had the pleasure of messaging back and forth with Mike Hill. He's the guy who I think did, I don't know if he did the Edgar Allan Poe or not, come to think of it. I know that another guy did the H.P. Lovecraft one, but he did a Mary Shelley sculpture, hyper-realistic sculpture for Del Toro. So he designed the finishing touches and a lot of the design work for the creature from The Shape of Water. And I just think it's a lovely tribute to Millicent Patrick's design from the creature from the Black Lagoon. But yeah, big fan of Mike Hill and dying to see what he does. But you can see right there when I'm working with this stuff, little things like having a grayish sort of orangish green on this side where I've got the orange pop right there. And then you have that complementary color happening right here. It's not really a realistic reflective light. It's more of a stylistic thing, but it really brings that kind of, that richness and that sense of play. So when people look at the stuff I do and they think, like, wow, like your colors are nuts. Well, they kind of are. My colors are nuts because they're, I'm not trying to keep, I'm not trying to make it realistic. I'm trying to make it aesthetic. I'm trying to create a sense of color harmony and a sense of play. And I've had the opportunity, I don't know if any of you guys bought it or checked it out. I hope you have. But I did, one of my favorite paintings I've ever done was a painting I did for the cover of a book called Beckoned. And I just got my copies of Beckoned. Gosh, I guess it was a week or so. Everything's blurring, guys. The weeks have blurred the last couple of weeks. And I am really happy with how that came out. I mean, that painting is one of my favorite paintings I've ever done. Let's see here. Majorly agree. I never had a better time than laughing with CG. Being here is so much fun. Agreed, Skeleton Core Comics. Absolutely right. I'm so glad to hear that. Hey, that's so great, man. I'm so glad to hear that. That people getting into painting. Yeah, speaking of art, Steranko's Indiana Jones. Yes, that concept art's gorgeous. Is Testosterone as yes. Cigar chomping. Yep, total Doc Savage. To break Cobra's fang. Yeah, we need Doc Savage-esque indie. We absolutely do. Yes, indeed. We could keep it diaphanous round. Yeah. Let's see here. Jacob Elordi guy is pretty tall. Oh, yes, he is. Yep, that actor at 6'5". He's definitely has that monster frame, though he's a bit thin. Yeah, I mean, I think Boris was pretty thin when he did when he was Frankenstein. And the other thing that is a question I have is Jack Pierce, the guy who did the makeup for Boris. He really what's the word I'm looking for? He had this ability to not do too much and just do the right amount. And I sincerely hope that they do something that's a really beautiful, subtle makeup that changes the monster, the actor who plays the monster, but doesn't just eradicate it. I don't want it to feel like a heavy rubber mask, because what Jack Pierce did with the cotton, and I forget, you guys will know what they use, what type of glue or gel they would mix in with the cotton to build up the makeup for Boris. It's a work of art. It's beautiful, man. It's just beautiful. Yeah, Doc Savage looks awesome. Yeah, Doc Savage is the man. Yeah, Steranko did a book called Chandler that I think inspired Frank Miller's Sin City. Yes, I have not seen that, but I have heard about it. Who was talking? Antoine, I swear, I feel like you and I have very similar conversations than the ones I have with my brother Nick, because I think we were just talking about that because he was on a Pulp panel, a lecture, because he was a guest panelist on this lecture, and they were talking about that book, I think, if I'm not mistaken. It's wild how that happens, because it's such a small world in the best sense, guys. It really is crazy. And I mean, I feel as though there have been so many wild coincidences and meeting people who are passionate about things. And I look at what I was doing, with, comics when I was 17 or 14. My first indie comic I self-published at, the local Quick Print, if you guys remember that print shop. I self-published a comic and printed it Quick Print, sold it out of my book bag. Did another one that was an actual print job when I was 16, and then did my first professional job when I was 17 for a small indie publisher. But the first book I really stepped out and did some crazy stuff with was, I think I have it here. Hang on a second here. Give you a quick glimpse of my forehead there. There we go. Was this my very first Photoshop? This is me learning how to do Photoshop with Springball in 2002, which is crazy to think about. Written, drawn, colored, created, and owned by Shanth Enjeti. Oh my lord. And so, yeah, you can find these, for now at least, on eBay. And going through, look at that computer, guys. Look at how crazy that is. I've had to rework all of this stuff. And, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a whole different kettle of fish, man. And it's going to be cool. And so the original books are out there. People can pick those up, although their price is going up because you guys have started buying them, so they're getting more and more expensive. So hopefully, if you've already got yours, but when I do the next release of it, it's going to be really cool for people who had it back in the day to look and see how much of it has changed and like how crazy it gets. But that was me. I was in my 20s and I was teaching myself Photoshop. So 2002. God, let's see. I'm 48 now, so that would have been what, 22 years? Is that 22 years? 2002, 22 years ago, so I would have been 26, I think. 26 years. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember. Let me see. Antoine Dennison, Cranland. Is there a Doc Savage film? Yes, I have seen that Doc Savage film. I get what you're saying from, yeah. And it is just really kitschy, man. It's really kitschy. Lord Henson, Comicsgater, how are you doing, my friend? Your paintings, oh, thank you, man, thanks so much. Look amazing, can't wait to get Nosfero. You're gonna love it. I missed the first chance, but glad I did the second chance and was able to back. Yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful book, man. All the books that I do, all the painted books I do, I've got these printers I use. They're in America, and they cost a little bit extra money, not just because they're in America, but because they do very high-end stuff. They have they work with a lot of high-end clients, and they know my painted work. They've done all my art books and Nosfero, so they understand how to get the colors right. So believe me when I say that what you get when you're working with a printer who specializes in, you know, doing art books and gallery exhibition catalogs, is you get something that is very true to the colors as I intended them, and the paintings. I mean, to me, it's absolutely true to the paintings. So that was important to me, that if I'm gonna do all of this handwork that's involved in making the most beautiful books I can make for you guys, I want what you get to be a reflection of what, you know, you watched me do and what we've put in here together. I'm with you on that 100%. But thank you so much, Lord Hinson Comics Gator. I really do appreciate that. You know, I mean, that's the thing too. One of the things that Thomas Hart Benton, who was a really interesting cat and artist, was that he used to say back in the day, was he was a really big believer in the importance of, in America, regional artwork, which is, you know, that all of America, all artwork isn't coming from one place in America, but that there were many different places, so that you would start to, you know, get different vibes, because we are a huge country. I don't think people even realize just the sheer scale of America is incredible. And we lost that a little bit in our culture. And so when I'm illustrating Spring Ball, I'm trying to be very conscious of not making it your typical, you know, sort of, you know, oh, it's a version of New York or a version of Metropolis comic, because I want it to have an element of what I love about New England. So when I take you guys on those hiking trips with the missus, and I shoot like these short little videos while we're there, yes, there are only 2 issues of Spring Ball. The 3rd issue and the wrap-up never came out, which means as I'm reworking issues 1 and 2, which they're called Terminal Monstrosity. So Terminal Monstrosity issue 1 will be released first. Terminal Monstrosity issue 2 will be released next. And if you've read those books, you've got a glimpse of of what Spring Ball is kind of about, but you've never really seen his origin. That's in book 3, where you get, you know, a look into his origin, or actually you get his origin more or less. And you've never really seen the resolution of that. And so book 1 underwent some rather important changes to tie into book 3 and book 2, but book 2 is, while still keeping you know, the characters and all that other stuff, book 2 really has become, you know, something that deepens the lore of 2 of the characters that you meet in the story. And it really is, it takes it into that kind of Spider-Man meets Evil Dead stylistic that I've really been wanting to do. There's nothing like having a nice brush, because I know that's a non sequitur, but there's nothing like having a nice brush, because when I'm painting, you know, it's just to have the brush kind of snap the end of the line and make it kind of just give it a nice feather. There's just something about that I really like. Like, let me show you this. Hopefully it's going to focus okay. But when I show you this this bit right here that I've been working on, and you see those nice little feather lines right there, you can really see, you know, how detailed that is. Because so here's like a thumbnail, so you guys can sort of see what we're talking about scale wise. But that's the stuff that's exciting to have you guys watch and be a part of, is just seeing how I think about color, and maybe it'll get you thinking about something you want to try, you know, with color as well. Of course, there are only 2 Spring Balls. There can only be 2 Spring Balls, unless you fall on a fence, and then things change. We need more of you, Shanth. Oh my gosh. Yes, I'm working on it. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's crazy, you know, with excuse me, with I've been a little bit under the weather lately. You can kind of hear it in my voice and my and in my nose. I can't really breathe through it really well. But yeah, I do love doing this stuff, and I love streaming. And I've been, you know, whenever I'm off doing stuff, it's usually I don't ever stop working, but sometimes I kind of have to like go and you know, go inside of my own, you know, head, or spend some time looking at work, because things are some of the things I'm working on are just so complicated. And what's funny is that I need to stream more often for no other reason other than, if for no other reason than just the fact that it's great being around you guys, and it means that I'm not engaged in really intense structural solves for highly complicated ideas, if that makes sense. And that's usually what I'm doing when I go solid, or go solo, and I just kind of disappear, is I'm working on something and trying to solidify it so that I can just execute it. And it goes with I've been in a very big writing phase with Spring Ball and with Forget What You've Been Taught About, and also making art for those things. And then with Nosfero, the Second Chance campaign, Indiegogo finally got us funds so we can start talking to people, and now I can start really thinking about doing the fun layout aspects of these things. But it's I've been doing self-published books now for, gosh, what was it, like 2018, I think, is when I did my first book, or at least my first print job of a book. And I can tell you this, is that if there's one bit of advice I would give to anybody about this, doing this kind of thing and getting into this stuff, and whether it's Comicsgate or it's just independent work, because there's a lot of stuff being done, I'm guessing. I know people have done stuff on like Kickstarter or on like different comic like online things, is that you have to be good, really good, and disciplined at pushing for excellence. And at the same time, you've also got to be good at calling it done. So with that, doing as much as you can to maintain excellence, and then doing as much as you can to be the kind of person who finishes things. And I like, I think I'm able to handle that balance really well, but I get why it's not for everybody. I get why doing creator-owned stuff where you're your boss, you're handling shipping, you're handling all of that, is because you're the word on being able to look to yourself and saying, this is done, let's go. Like, this is it. And I think that, and I just am one of those folks to where, that's how my brain works. Like I'm like, this has to be done because it's time for it to be done. We got to just wrap this up now, and yeah, it's weird to see that, because I can see when I'm doing stuff on Spring Ball, I can totally get how people can get working in digital, and if they don't have a clear plan of what they want to do, how you can just absolutely spin out in digital, because digital is like oils, it's like they're slow to dry. And, you can always keep working back into them. Whereas, and I think sometimes that can be really, really tough. But for the average creator, you can overwork something, and you spin your wheels out on it. And I've watched a lot of, when I was, coming up, one of my favorite artists, and a really tough story, man. I love this dude. I hope one day I get to see him, in the afterlife, and just tell him how grateful I am for his existence. But Dave Stevens struggled to do his own creative stuff. He really did. I got that documentation, which is called Drawn to Perfection, which is about his perfectionism. And that guy did so much. He storyboarded Thriller, Raiders of the Lost Ark, a chase scene he did. He did The Rocketeer. He did Alien World stuff. He did, so many different covers and pinups and things like that. And whenever he had money and opportunity, it was hard for him. He just spun out. Like, he had the resources, but he would just, overthink things, Yeah, I think it's good to write the comic book. I mean, the way I create is really weird. I don't know if I could ever explain it. Oh yeah, if you want to try taking a clove of garlic. Oh, that's a good idea for allergies. Yeah, that's probably very true. That's actually probably really good. Yeah. Timmy Mello says, my brother here says, the hardest part is to pull it all together. It's great to have ideas, but it's another thing. It's another to not only pull it from the ether, but also see it through to its full completion. When life distractions come around, you're absolutely right. You have to hang on. Oh, I don't know if you guys heard that, but Nothing like cracking your neck when the weather's going up and down like it's been lately. Although apparently it's not good for you, but oh well. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about that you can't I don't know how to describe it. It's a zone. It's not like you don't care, because I see people who get things done and they think it's all about getting it done, but you know, it's got to be good too. Like, everything's gonna be hard. It's got to be good. Was that like me cracking my neck? Sorry, man. Yeah, it's pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal. It's, you know, you really do have to have some level of excellence on it. So to work on Springball, which is a very different looking book than Nosfero in a lot of ways, although it's weird because I was telling John Malin this, and I don't know if he believed me, but I said, I see my youthful Todd McFarlane influence in Nosfero. I just do, and I see a lot of what I do in Nosfero. I'm sorry, in Springball. Gosh, no, actually, a lot of what I do in Nosfero in Springball, especially the newer stuff, because obviously I've you know, grown as an artist, but even when I'm cartooning, and that's very much what Springball's about. I'm still cartooning when I'm painting Nosfero. Like, I'm not trying to do, you know, these kind of, you know, staid, you know, renderings of a scene. I'm trying to get playful, like Basil Gogos or Frank Frazetta or all of those guys. Oh, I thought that was thunder outside my door. Yes, it was my neck. Yeah, my neck is very loud when it cracks, man. Let's see here. It's a weird thing, you know, because the point of all of my, or the message that I like to impart with the stuff that I do, and I'm not a big fan of the message book, by the way. I do love that quote. If you want to send a message, call Western Union. But the thing for me is, I think that life is pretty damn amazing, even in its horror, even in, you know, the stuff I saw as a kid when I was visiting the ICU and stuff like that, and just parked at, you know, nurses' stations. I saw a lot of stuff. But life is kind of an extraordinary thing, and I'm not into the theater of surrender, the theater of, you know, giving up and what's the point, and you know, presenting people with characters who are victims of circumstance or victims of their own neuroses, and they're not ever able to evolve. I like hero. I think the greatest act of heroism that people ever really have is changes in behavior. It's not about changing things externally. And a hero is a character that has a very clear look at how he does things, and he inspires people to make changes, to be better. Like a hero is in many ways an example, and he faces difficult situations, but he knows who he is. And that's what I wanted to do, always wanted to do with Springball. I just know a lot more about how to do it now. So where other comic books often show characters that go through different things, and then the lesson of the story is like we leave them and we never see what happens to them again. In the world of Springball, you're going to see characters who go on, like, have experiences that are difficult and go on to live better lives and go on to be important. And that's what Nosfero is. Nosfero, you see that guy Nosfero was at rock bottom in his life. You know what I mean? And he's like, no, I'm not going to let this define me. I'm going to find that little moment of grace. Yes, I've been through horrific things, but I survived. So am I going to identify with the person who went through the horrible things, or am I going to acknowledge the fact that through the grace of God, I survived? And that's what he hangs on to. In a lot of ways, he takes strength from how hard what he went through was, and then that he was able to see it through, which is incredible. And I think that's so important, man. Yeah, Basil Gogos is just a genius. I look at that dude's stuff all the time, and it just drops me, man. What a genius. You know, yeah, the redemption story is a very strong story. Oh, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Yes, indeed. My man Lloyd, I've been looking at your painting like crazy. I've got I had some great reference of for a figure who I'm going to be putting clothing on, but I was just blocking her in, and so I'm going to be putting a nice little diaphanous, period accurate gown. But there's just a little glimpse of one of the things I'm working on. I can't really show it on stream, Lloyd, but that's that little corner of that painting I've been working on. But yeah, man, you know how it goes, Lloyd. We hang out here, and it's like those late conversations you would have with your buddies. You know what I mean? And that's why it's great to see you, channel member and huge backer and patron of the work I do. I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate that, because it's a very making work and making artwork is, I don't want to say it's a lonely experience in that in the sense of it's sad in that way, but it's ultimately like anything, like parenting or a marriage or things that it's like only the two of you kind of know what it is. Having you guys here and having your support and having you guys get what the stuff is that I'm doing and rooting for me too, just rooting for me is a lot. I feel like I have been just incredibly fortunate this year on more levels than I can't even say it or can't even articulate it, I should say. So I did a painting for Lloyd that was of Bride of Frankenstein that I showed to a former student of mine, Lloyd. And he saw it and he goes, holy cow. And he's actually paints a lot. He works in the industry. He works for like Sideshow Collectibles. He's worked for DreamWorks. He was one of the main concept artists on Guitar Hero 2. His stuff, he's a big time rock star artist. He does great stuff, literally and figuratively. His name's Cameron Davis. And Cameron came over to my house and he saw your painting. And he said to me, he goes, hey, Shanth, he's like, I've never seen that before. Like taking the white streak in her hair and making it the figure. He's like, did you come up with that? And I was like, yeah, that's the one I came up with. And that's something I came up with. And he just couldn't believe it. He was just like, how on earth did you come up? And I was just going, if Lloyd hadn't asked me to paint that, and if Lloyd wasn't always in this, just bringing the positivity to this stuff, like you feed off of it as an artist. And it was like, I wonder if I even have that kicking around somewhere. I have so much junk in my office, guys. It is diabolical. But it was just, if Lloyd hadn't asked me to do that particular, painting. Yeah, I don't think I have it in here with. Oh no, here it is. Yeah. So here it is. So this is the Nolan DVD-ROM for Cameron Scott Davis, and so this is a DVD-ROM he did where he worked on Guitar Hero, for those of you guys who know Nolan Workshop. And in the volume 1 of this disc, he actually mentions me when he's going over his shape philosophy, which came from my class. And, where we talked about this kind of stuff. And he goes, yes, I learned this stuff from Shanth Enjeti. Go check him out. It was wild because he asked me, he's like, can I show this stuff and mention you? Because I think it's important for my character design stuff. And I was like, yeah, man, go for it. And he just came out and visited me about 6 months or so ago, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. And I gave him a sketchbook where I had done some designs for some characters of his he's working on. And, it was a great moment, man. He got a little misty-eyed, and it was nice to see, man. Love that guy. He's just a super. He's a real one for sure. But I've got a lot of my kids have gone on to do some pretty outstanding stuff, and he's more than a kid now for sure. He's definitely an artist brother. We've had a lot of great late night conversations like the ones I have with you guys. And if there's one thing that I think is really cool about Comicsgate is that I get to kind of get away from things and Clark Kent it in here a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like I don't. I just get to be with you guys and hang out like I've always wanted to. Yes, absolutely, Frankenstein, 100%. I can't wait to do a Frankenstein painting for you, man. And it's how do I word it? I like it's a real gift to hang out with the kind of people that you hang out with at comic shops that you hang out with at, conventions or bookstores or all that stuff, and get to deep dive into this. To have this space and have us doing this, it's I think that I'm very glad I'm the age I am now. I'm glad I'm 48. I'm glad, my kids are going to be 20 next year, which blows my mind. But I'm glad that this space exists, and I think I've been fortunate that all of my experiences leading up to this have given me a full appreciation of it. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, it's weird. This is my fortress of solitude. Like these, you guys are the folks who come here and who get the work and hang out and stream and watch me do all of this kind of stuff. And it's not the same thing as I don't know how to describe it. It's just it's not the same. It's the same thing I have with my brothers in the industry. Like, I don't like to I try to keep my industry friends just sort of like, I like to be a person they can call, and it's not about work. Like, when you're in the industry, man, or even when you're in, I'm sure there's an element of this in Comicsgate too, but everybody wants something from you. You can't just talk to artists. You can't just have conversations, because you got so many people who are, asking you for things, or, oh, I don't have time to read a script or hear this idea you're working on. And, I've got a friend who's a very successful storyboard artist, and he sent me a message. I sent him a message to say Happy Thanksgiving, because he came out here to visit me when he was doing some storyboard work on a Will Ferrell, Ryan Reynolds movie that's going to be coming out, I think, in a year or so. And he came out here, and I got to hang out with him and his missus. And one of the things that was sort of cool about it is that I said, "Hey man, Happy Thanksgiving. How are you doing?" And he sent me a photo. He's been in this country now since we graduated from college, and he just became a U.S. citizen. And I was just so proud of him, because I love this country, and he knows that. And just to see him, have, he's contributed so much to our culture. He worked on the Tron animated series. I don't know what it was called, but there was a Tron animated series after the movie Tron Legacy, and he was one of the lead storyboard artists on that. Just a terrific guy. And so he can call me up. We can talk aviation. Shout out to Aviator Surge. And we can talk, rare, like, old aircraft and storytelling and westerns, and that's what we get to do here, man. I get to do that stuff with Antoine, and I get to do that stuff, with all of you guys, Cranberry Langers and Stephen Rockwood, and we talk about, art and movies and all that fun stuff. And even Graham Nolan, actually. I've gotten to hang out with Graham a little bit with Billy too. And it's really nice, because we have an interest in fascination in certain things that overlap. And yeah, it's great, man. It's really great. So I'm so grateful for you guys, and it's always nice when I can come in here and just sort of stream and paint, because I've been so as my wife was telling me today, actually, she's like going, you need to take a break, kiddo. I've been sitting, I wake, I'm going to tell you some terrible living habits of mine, or tendencies I have. I went to bed with my laptop next to my bed, and I worked till I passed out and was about to drop my laptop. I don't know if you've ever done that, where you're so tired you almost doze off and your laptop almost falls out of bed. And then when I woke up, reached over, took a sip of water, grabbed my laptop, and started working. And it was just, I was in that still in work mode. And sometimes I'm just thinking to myself, oh, I got to get around, get out and say hello. So when it was a really good break, it was really good for me to go hang out with, Shane and Mandy and Dale. And it's funny, growing up in the South, I miss it sometimes. Like, I miss just the way we talk. And Mandy kind of grew up, I believe, just a little bit south of where I grew up, but she knows all the places. I've got family in some of the places she's grown up, and my not at the same time, I don't think, but my wife and her both went to the same space camp in Huntsville, Alabama, and things like that. So you just sit back and and you get to relax and feel kind of real about it. Yeah, it is. It really is. Having good people around you, having my kids are like, just, the warmth of the sun when I see them and they come back, and I miss them like crazy. I'm super proud of them, but I'm also excited because I'm getting to see the adults that they're going to be. And that's kind of a cool thing. It's cool to see, just to watch people just go and have their adventures. I mean, it's the same thing here, isn't it? Like whenever I'm packing up books. I just had a horrible thought. Antoine, if you're still here, let me know in the chat if you're still here. Because I wanted to ask you a question because I honest to God can't remember. Jeez. This is why my mind doesn't go to sleep. Like my wife goes, we're going for a hike tomorrow, so don't stay up all night. And I go, don't worry, I won't stay up all night, but I want to get a stream in with these guys. I want to get a stream in with my people. Just wish Mark's Music Obsession was here. I feel bad because I feel like when I stream late, it makes it harder for Mark to hear about the streams because he's got an early rise in life, so it feels like it's frustrating. But I don't know if Antoine's here. Yeah, I'm still here cooking meatballs. Awesome, Antoine. So I told you I was going to take care of you and get you another Nosfero. Did I take care of that? When I packed your box, did you get the other copy? Let me know in the chat if I did, because I just had that sinking feeling. I was like, oh God, did I remember to do that? And there's nobody I can blame because it's all me. Oh man, I think I did. I can't remember. Seriously, it's and man, meatballs. We had Swedish meatballs the other day, and I'll tell you what, I am a sucker for that, man. Oh, I love pasta with meatballs. I love anything like that. I've got the most simple American taste when it comes to food. Like, I love that stuff, and British stuff too, which is big. Oh, yes, sir, I did. Oh, good. We talked about that. Thanks. Oh, of course. My God, man. Yes. Good. Because you know what, and I know you know this, Antoine, but it's we're all just spinning plates. And I have those moments where it's like, late at night where I'll just be sitting there and I'll just go, oh my God, did I do this or did I do that? And did I remember to do this? Or, oh God. Sometimes it can be just like, did I leave that tube of paint open before I went to bed? Oh man, it's too funny. But yeah, I mean, it was so cool to see that stuff come together because a lot of you guys were here. And, one of the things I think about, it's always on my mind is that, we talk about this, but when you back a book from a creator that you've never backed a book from, you really are. I mean, it's like, you're a backer. You're not a pre-order. So it's like, are you going to get something? And while I would, I'm always going to get people their stuff unless I'm hit by a bus, of course, but I'm always going to get people their stuff, but it is a huge leap of faith. But a fully painted comic book is like, you never know. Oh man, caramelized. You guys are killing me. I do love that it always comes to food in these streams though, guys. I do love that about us, man. It's a blast. It's a blast. But yeah, I mean, I love that kind of stuff, man. Love steak. I love all of it, man. It's all good. Any place where I can get like American, I love Mexican food, of course, too. Which is just like, I mean, in the South, I mean, you guys probably know this, but Mexican food's like a staple. It's just, it is. It's like there's Mexican food, there's Tex-Mex. That's my stuff, man. But yeah, it's been a crazy year. And I'm really I think 2025 is going to be a killer year. Really looking forward to it. For comics, I mean, with Spring Ball, as I've looked at that and I've seen that coming together and I know what I want to do with it. I know the format I want to do it in because Lauren, Mrs. Enjetti, had suggested to me a few times. Like she'd say, "Well, do you think you should do it as single issues?" And it really sounded smart, but I was trying to wrap my mind around it. And I had this. I'll show this to you guys because I think I have it here. Is this it? Yeah, one of the people who did a test on Nosfero. Oh, nice. Oh my gosh, let me see. Oh, I feel like I missed something here. Thanks again. Okay, excellent. I sold the second copy on eBay, bought some Bitcoin, and tripled my money. Good looking out, brother. Hey, I'm there, man. Yeah, Bitcoin's apparently going crazy. Oh, I'm so glad to hear you're excited for Creative Faye. And hello, how are you doing? So yeah, this was the thing, right? Is that so this was one of the printers I looked at because I was thinking about switching up, what I did a little bit and just giving them a shot because they were a printer that a friend of mine had suggested, and they did some interesting stuff. I think if I'd had more time with them to work on the colors, we could have got it somewhere. And I still think we can. I think I may use them at some point. I mean, I want to use printers in the States, obviously. And they sent me a bunch of different like takes and versions of it. And one of the things I kept thinking about was I want to do Spring Ball as a 8.5 by 11, just like Nosfero, but as a floppy, like they used to do with like Rocketeer and Prestige books. And they sent me this as an 8.5 by 11, just kind of folded over floppy, and I just thought that could be really, really cool. And once I thought about that, and once I started putting that stuff together and thinking about the Rocketeer, they did a special large format Rocketeer edition. I don't know where the hell that is, but I've got it somewhere over here. And I just thought, oh, that could be a really cool, like maybe I'll put some crazy, maybe I'll put some cool like ads in it, like and fun things, because there've been a lot of people going back to the old Pulp magazine format and put some, but I don't mean stuff that's like, stuff that's really a part of the experience of making the art, Yes, and I'm thinking about doing exclusives for sure. So I've been thinking about doing, exclusives with each, and I've been thinking about maybe I'll do, like if I do Indiegogo and if I do Fund My Comic, I might do a special cover for Fund My Comic. Like I'm thinking all kinds of fun stuff like that. I've got so many ideas for this stuff now because guys, doing the first 2 art books and the first printing of Nosfero, I've learned like there's so much once you get over the making sure that you get it all done right, which I knew I could do, but I'm one of those people where I'm like, don't get crazy until you get this under your belt. Now I'm just like, oh, okay, now I'm letting my mind kind of just flow with, okay, I'm going to try this and this and this, because it's not that the stuff is wildly complicated, but when you're writing and illustrating a comic book by yourself and you're doing the colors and the lettering, in this case with Spring Ball, because I want to keep it true to what it was at the start, you just don't know, I'm overly cautious. Like I told my wife, I go, she's like, what's your worst case scenario on these campaigns? And I go, worst case scenario would be we barely make any money, or not worst case scenario, but like, that's what I'm planning for, but we won't lose money. And I'm going to price this, to make sure that it's not too brutal on us during the production phase of it. And it was still really hard during the production phase, but I felt very good that with supply chain stuff that occurred, all this stuff that I couldn't have predicted, that I was able to still print the book in America, and we were not in some situation where we were horrifically like, oh my God, we have no money and now we got to spend God knows how much. I won't even tell you how much we spent to print it. And that's just got me more confidence with doing this kind of thing, and knowing what I can deliver for what I charge is big. Cranberry Langer said, people, oh gosh, sorry to bump the camera, guys. Sorry about that. People will have a chance to try this out, try it out, but the singles, then the compilation, absolutely try it out. And if they like the story of each graphic novel, allow word to spread. Yes, and that's one of my thinking on it. Right, if I do that first book, and just people just aren't into it, it's like, yeah, this is kind of cool, but I don't know if I want to do anything with this, or if I don't know if I want to keep buying this book, or you never know. You don't know how people are going to react. Then my attitude is I want to work on Nosfero 2 sooner rather than later. And not that I'm not working on it as we speak right now, but I think it's just a healthier thing to do, to let to try things out and see if, because you never know how excited people really are for something until you put it out there. And I think that right now I've seen a lot of positive and enthusiastic people about it, but Spring Ball seems like people are into it, so we'll see. Let's see. Balatro was a mobile game that almost won Game of the Year. Whoa, hold on a second. I missed something. Yeah, make some art for Balatro. I don't know what that. I mean, wow, I'm learning about it. Won Game of the Year. My God, that's cool. Yeah, you got to tell me more about it. I wonder if my son knows about it because he's up on the games. He's up on the gaming stuff. That sounds awesome. And I think you're right. What you guys said is absolutely right. What my dream scenario for Spring Ball, if I had a dream scenario, and I do realize that comic book dreams are kind of funny because they're, it's a very niche, dream. It's a comic book dream. Would be for it to have the kind of impact that something like Black Riding Hood had, where people check it out and they get excited about it, and then all of you guys who backed the book and backed Spring Ball when it came out, it does well. Like, a lot of people back it and buy it, but then people are like, oh my god, I missed this, and that people could sell it for more money who bought 2 copies. You know what I mean? It's that's a very fun... Oh, it's a role-playing game. Oh, I gotcha. Right on. Oh, it's a solitaire game that uses an RPG style. Very cool. Nice, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I think that's a very cool experience, and the character is just so appealing, and when you guys get to really kind of meet his personality, I think you're gonna like him a lot. Yeah, he's a very, as wild as his origin is, that he is, kind of, well, actually I won't go too much into it. I've talked about it on stream before. He's seen a lot, and he's got kind of a wry sense of humor. Like, I don't want to say he's got a dark sense of humor, because he's very real. Like, in a lot of ways, he's got a lot of the qualities that I have, where it's like, he means what he says. He can still laugh at the insanity of things, but he's the kind of person who is who's level-headed in an insane situation. And I like that about my heroes, Oh, and they're doing a pixel art for cards from various pop culture. Oh, very cool, man. Yeah, it's I like the idea of humanizing my characters, but by that I don't mean to humanize something, a character's got to have flaws. I don't think humanity is defined by its flaws alone. That's a weird one. I think that's just something that's kind of come out of postmodernism, and the idea that human beings are a detriment to life on Earth and all that other horrible stuff, which I'll be taking on in my Forget What You've Been Taught About series. But I mean more so that you have to have dreams, you have to have people you care about, and you can't, once you start, if you have principles and you have things that you care about, you can only be so cynical. Your cynicism cannot be the driving factor, and so it's like, with Spring Ball wants to protect people. He wants to save people, particularly kids who are sort of preyed upon. And that's one of his big sort of things. And he realizes that the world he's living in is very complicated, and there's a lot of stuff going on. But he still gets up. I mean, he's like that police officer who gets up every day and puts that badge on and goes out there. He's like, I'm going to see some stuff today, but I'm still going to go out there. I'm still going to go out there and do my job, because it's important. If I don't do my job, bad stuff is going to happen to people. You know what I mean? And I might not be able to stop all of it, but I can push against it. And I love that stuff, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, you got to do it, man. The climate stuff doesn't like too many people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to have a character fight for what is right despite their flaws. Yeah, and it's a weird thing, when you have those moments where you find yourself in a situation where, for that person in that particular time, you did something that was heroic for them. You did something that was good. I think it makes us all, that's what keeps us going, are the things that we do that have a positive outcome. It's why I try to thank people, whether they're teachers that I haven't, seen since I was, in elementary school or high school or even college. So, decades ago. I like to occasionally send, a teacher or someone who impacted me positively, or even an artist, just a message, whether they see it or not, to say, hey, thank you for inspiring me. Your work helped me. Your work helped me to get to where I was going through some times, and my life's better for it. The Spring Ball, in many ways, is it's about the potential of comic books, which is, and so is Nosfero, interestingly enough. It's about, look, you can do a painted comic book. Look, you can really play with the comic book art form. That's what Spring Ball's about. Hand lettering, playing with the panels, playing with characters, playing with narrative, and you know, and taking a different angle with, you know, all of my characters. I refer to them as, you know, they're horrors heroes. That's their genre. So I call them super horror comics, and so I want to show the full potential of that by what I do with Nosfero and what I do with Spring Ball. You know, is to show that full potential. And Nosfero 2 is going to be sick. Will there be any giant snakes in Nosfero? There will, you know this, Stephen Rockwood, there will not be any more snake scales to be painted by me. If you see me even think about doing that Nosfero, man, stop me. I'm not kidding. That snake was a pain in the ass. I'm cautiously optimistic about this project, but I'm really enthusiastic about your pulp heroes. Yeah, well, remember this too. Spring Ball is a pulp hero, the way I'm doing him. So, yeah, I don't want to give too much stuff away, but it's very pulp, like, because I can't find, how do I word it? I can't find the, I'm going to be careful because I could very well, maybe I have and I just don't know it yet, but I can't find the Aunt May angle. Do you know what I mean? Or like, this is this character's girlfriend and all that stuff. Now, it's not saying I'm against it, but I have a much easier time thinking about like a character like the Phantom, or thinking about, again, I always say Spider-Man meets Evil Dead, but I try to think about a contemporary Lovecraftian pulp, if that makes sense. And it's the only way I could think about how to put those two things together is by crossing Lovecraft with Ditko. Does that make sense, Antoine? Like, it's Ditko meets Lovecraft, if that makes any sense. It's weird, you know. No, it's not that. Dear God, Simply Green. And it's great to see you, Simply Green. How are you doing, man? Yeah, it's a world of crazy and scary, I can tell you that, you know. And so, yeah, I mean, it's very much what I'm bringing here is what you're going to see, you know. Timmy Mello's got something. Let me wait for it to come up here so I can get it on here. Man, you guys can tell how bad my cold and stuff has been. Hey, Sean, doing all right? Glad to hear it. So here's Timmy Mello. Let me see if I can get this on here. The return of the hegemonic figure of heroism will dictate the focus on interest in modern storytelling. For too long, we've seen the selfish portrayal of what people thought were heroes, yet have no idea. You're absolutely right. Yeah, if you've ever needed a hero and had a hero, you know what a hero is. It's amazing that way. Yeah, there are elements of selflessness that can be applied. Yep. Yeah, the elements of selflessness are so important. Hey, Sean, doing all right? Glad to hear it. Mike Likes Tacos is here. It's great to see you, Mike. How are you doing, brother? I am glad to see you, my friend, and now I'm hungry for tacos. Yeah, Ditko rocks. Yeah, good choice. Yeah, Ditko's amazing. He's just great. Headless Bourgeoisie, how are you doing, my friend? Masked heroes are a product of the pulp era. They lose relevance the further from those pulp roots they get. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's why I was thinking about, and maybe this makes sense a little bit. I guess that's why I was thinking about the Phantom at first as, like, you know, being something tied to Spring Ball, but it's not at all. It's not at all. I mean, the Nosfero has got a lot more of the Phantom in him in so many ways than Nosfero does, but than Spring Ball does. Spring Ball is something different. Like, he's not Spider-Man, man. He's not. I have to use that because that's sort of the form language of some of the things that you're going to see in it, like that he's a superhero and that kind of thing in that sense. But he really is. He's going to be very much defined by the villains and monsters that he encounters, right? So, what's a really good... I'm trying to think of how to make... You guys are always good for this because you guys help me to, you know, think about it so I can articulate it better. If you've read any Lovecraft and you've read the Shadow over Innsmouth, Springball is the kind of character that could get drawn into that story. I can't imagine for the life of me, it might be a cool read, but I can't imagine for the life of me Spider-Man being drawn into that kind of story. Springball absolutely could be drawn into that kind of story. Like his stuff is scary in a way that to where, yeah, Springball could go, in theory, yeah, he could go to, you know, an abandoned stone temple outside of town where some ritual was happening, if that makes sense. I don't want this character to be just, you know, going through the city and beating up a mugger in an alley as his default setting. That's not what he's about. He finds things and he finds situations going on that sort of, again, because this is being created in Lovecraft country, there's more to America and even every region in America than just what's happening in the city. And I don't think heroism should be stopping just in the city. I think and superheroism should be stopping just in the city. I think there's places that you can go to outside of that, because your character can be just as at home one place as in another. So yeah, I'm excited to see that. Yes, I can. Sorry, I just saw a post here. Can you show the old Springball comics? Yes, I can. I have them right here. I've had them here for a while. I'm going to try to bag and board some of these that are in good conditions just so I have them. So this is the cover for Springball issue 2 from 2002. So here is that book right there. God almighty, I was just having a time with Bevelin and Boss. And so there is color assist and life support by Laura and Jetty. I love that. So I was a newlywed. And so then here's some of the pages right here. God almighty, I look at this stuff. Yeah, it just blows my mind. Woohoo! I can draw so much better now. But anyway, you can kind of see like a lot of the stuff I was doing with the sound effects and things like that, and just sort of playing around with where things were going to go. And yeah, I don't want to see, I can't show you guys too much, but oh man, dude, the new versions of all these pages, I look at these and I just, ugh. I mean, they're great and all, and they're for their time, but the new stuff is so much better. Yep, Professor is busy, busy, busy. Lord knows, that's what we do around here. Frosty the Snowman, keeping it old school. That but you see how you do that. Yeah, I can picture it. Yeah, absolutely. And Headless Bourgeoisie says, yeah, the pulps were plot driven. The lead characters were largely static and placed in a variety of stories. That's my goal, man. You know it. You know it, Headless Bourgeoisie. Yeah, I won't show too much. Don't worry, Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. I won't. Yeah, I was in, oh God. Yeah, creative thing, I know. I was in elementary school in 2002. Oh my God. I've been married for 2 years at that point, which is crazy to think about. Yeah, hail everybody. And thank you so much, Creative Thing. You know, and if anything, I like those books. I'm really glad people are snapping up the original copies. I think they are going to be very rare and very hard to find. Because there just were not a lot of those, and probably less survived all this time. I know Mile High Comics was raising the price on them because the demand went up all of a sudden. You know, they started looking at their stock and people were buying them, and they went, oh my gosh, we got to raise these prices. They're getting harder to find. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah, the way I think about story and everything that I've experienced with Pulp, the characters are just, I don't know, they're so much more interesting and there's so much more potential. And I just think it's got, I'll tell you a comic book, and I know I talk about this book a lot, but I'm going to keep doing it. A comic book that I love that is a regional comic book of this area is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That to me is, for how many places they went in that book. And a lot of people who haven't read the original Mirage stuff have no idea how many different places and situations they went. But they were in New York for this giant chunk of time, and then they went out to Northampton, where Mirage Studios was located at the time. You know it's right, man. And so there's a double page spread where they're going into driving into Northampton, and it is them drawing the town that they moved Mirage Studios to. And that's the story where the Ninja Turtles are out at a farm recharging their batteries after Leonardo is, severely injured, which they put in the movie with Raphael being the case. Hell, even in, funny enough, the Peter David Hulk run, Hulk runs into Wolverine like out in the middle outside of Dallas, and they end up at a farm, I think, in the issue after that where he fights the Savage Bull. We can go a lot of different places. Yes, the Turtles went into outer space in issue 5. Yeah, and then you've got the Fugitoid, and you've got, guys, comics can be so incredible, man, and we can do anything, There we go. We've got Cherished Psalms in the house saying, I shall stop by and to say hello. Well, it is great to see you, my friend. I hope you are doing well, Cherished Psalms. Yeah, Mirage is Malibu. Malibu is actually, and yeah, that's right. Mirage is Malibu. Was Malibu actually in Malibu? Yes, it was. It was in Malibu. I think Malibu Comics was in Malibu. And Merry Christmas indeed. You're right. I just saw that awesome one. Merry Christmas, Cherished Psalms. Yeah. I mean, Ninja Turtles is really cool because it can go a lot of different places. Hell, I'd even say Spawn has had its moments. But Spring Ball is again, it's tied to this idea of the super horror genre, which is this thing I came up with to remind me what I'm doing. Where Spring Ball would not. He is learning that the world in the first issues of the book of Terminal Monstrosity, Spring Ball's had a very pragmatic and science-driven world. So even though he has seen, all sorts of crazy technology, he himself is a result of crazy technology. He's never actually seen monsters before. So he's a little bit about like Indiana Jones at the start of Raiders when he goes, there's all sorts of powers. Nobody understands the Ark and its secrets. And he reaches and grabs a revolver and he goes, oh, come on, Marcus. You know what a cautious guy I am. He has no sense of all that stuff. Hey, Edwin, how you doing? Edwin Azevedo in the house. It's great to see you, my friend. And Spring Ball is just there's one of the opening pages of Spring Ball. The first time you see him, he goes, monsters don't exist. Believe it. Period. Full stop. He's like, because he's trying to make a point about the fact that there's real evil in this world, but monsters aren't really a thing. And you've just learned a few pages prior that monsters actually are a thing. And so you're in on the joke before he is. And so it's very much about how he kind of realizes that there's bigger things at play and there are bigger issues at play. And there's a lot more of him going up against supernatural things than you're going to typically see in, say, Spider-Man or, the Incredible Hulk or things like that. Like, those things happen, but they always feel a little bit out of place. In his world, the Lovecraftian elements are brought up to speed to where we are now. So it would be like if you had a Lovecraftian cultist, working at CERN or something. You know what I mean? Like, it gets to some weird stuff. Drink if you've got them. Let's see here. Let me see here. Kirby's, yes. Kirby's, I can never pronounce that. Is it Etrigan? I butchered it. The Demon. I know the series was a brilliant mashup of horror and superheroics. Yes. And so was, there were elements of Tomb of Dracula that are so outstanding. I know that was Todd's biggest influence, but the introduction of Blade, those guys were just firing on all cylinders. Yep, Fleischer and DePero's Spectre stories, 100%. Yes. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, night tea is a good thing, man. Night tea is a good thing. Yeah, that was my product placement for Coca-Cola, Creative Faye. So, yeah, imagine the fun of bringing, all of the stuff we're doing now, or I'm doing now with Nosfero, and bringing that to Spring Ball, and bringing it in a sense where it's like, I want to just create a fun playground of comics that you guys are excited to get, but also that you crowdfund and then get to watch me make them is even more fun. So I was thinking the other day, my wife goes, "Are you going to do any of the Spring Ball stuff in traditional?" And because I'm doing the finishes in digital because I colored them in digital, and I actually just paint. I treat Spring Ball like it's a digital painting, so I rough it in with color blocks and values, and then the inking is the last stage. In a lot of ways, it's the opposite of the way most people do comics that look like Spring Ball. They kind of save that. They save that phase. Like they pencil it, they tighten it, they ink it, then they toss it to a colorist, and the colorist goes in and they bring all those colors out. What I do is I paint it, I get the color theory right, and I drive the color theory. And then I refine it with lots of fun, detailed ink lines. So I'm treating it like I do this stuff that you're seeing right here. And that's the fun thing about it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Timmy, I'm not going to attempt another one on pronouncing that because I think I killed it. Yes, gone, the form of man, arise the demon. I can't ever do it. I Trigan. I'm probably killing it, yeah. Did you ever get into Dave Sim's Cerebus? 100% I did. Yep. I read a lot of Cerebus in the middle stage, and I had one of my really good friends in high school, and actually I knew him in elementary, middle school, and high school, was a huge Dave Sim Cerebus fan, and I ended up, I was at Chicago Comic-Con showing my stuff around, and Dave Sim was back in the day. I think he is sober now. I don't think he drinks anymore. But he was at a bar, and I said, "My friend is a huge fan of yours. Would you do a Cerebus sketch for me?" And I've heard people talk about, creators, comic book creators. It's not always a great thing to ask somebody when they're chilling at a bar to do a sketch for you. I think he might have told me he would when I met him at the convention, but so I'm not 100% sure. And he said, "Yeah, sure." So he did a sketch for my friend, who was a huge Cerebus fan, and just handed it to me while he was sitting there drinking at the bar holding court. So yeah, but Dave Jaka's story and all of that stuff, my introduction to Cerebus was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think it was issue 8 with Renee and the time traveling thing, another great Ninja Turtles story, and painted cover by Kevin Eastman. All of that stuff, I really think that I don't know. I think I know where Nosfero is going. I don't know if I know where Spring Ball's going, but it's going to be cool. Eric, how are you doing, man? Eric Winberg in the house. It's great to see you, brother. Okay, there we go. It's Et Trigan. Et Trigan? Is that how you pronounce it? Let me know if I just murdered it again. Okay, Shanth, you've sold me. I'll support Jump Nut. Yes. Antoine, you fucking got me, man. That was great. I love it. I actually just messed up my headphone here. Oh man, I love it. Well done, man. That was beautiful. Oh, that was beautiful. Oh my god. Oh, Lordy. Sorry, guys, I gotta blow my nose. Apologies. Oh, I hate this. Hate my allergies. Oh my gosh. Channel member Willie D. It's great to see you, Willie D. How are you doing? Yep, you guys got me. Okay, tree as in tree. Got you. Et Trigan. Got you. Et Trigan. I'm still probably killing it. Yep. Yeah, I'm telling you what, man. And it's great to see Eric. Timmy Mello, many $20 deals. Gotcha. Many a great... Sorry, my headphones fell out there. Many a great $billion deals have been made at the bar. I believe it. Absolutely. Yeah, I've heard worse. That's right. I've heard worse. Yeah, Antoine, you got me, man. You're still painting? Yes, I am, Tammy D. I am still painting, and it's great to see you. How are you doing, channel member Tammy D? Yes, indeed. I once asked... Oh, my glass just fell down. I once asked a creator for a sketch. He said, sure, here you go. I looked down, and he raised his middle finger. You didn't. That did not happen, Antoine Dennison. Please tell me that did not happen. That's depressing. Yeah, I've always been, yeah, it's weird. Even my mentor, Brian Stelfreeze, when he came and he was talking at the college I was teaching at, students were asking him for sketches, and I'm like, guys, this isn't a con, but he still did them, man. He's incredibly good to fans, and I don't know where I would be in life without having him as a mentor. He was so generous, like, and I hope I've told him enough, and I hope I have, which I'm sure he might say I have. Knowing him, he'd say, yeah, you have, dude. But I'm so incredibly grateful to him. But he's always you see him with pictures of fans, like he was at a convention in Mexico City, and like there's these kids next to him he's doing sketches for, and he's got his arm around. He's so nice. He met a student of mine when I was teaching college at a convention, and she goes, "Hi, I just wanted to say hello. Shanth is always singing your praises, and I'm a student of his." And he got up and came from around the table he was at and gave her a hug. He was just like, "Oh, it's great to meet one of Shanth's students. He's such a terrific guy." Hail, Leg Kick One. Oh my God, it's like a bunch of people came in here. It's great to see you, Leg Kick One. Tammy's saying hello to everybody, man. Yep, my mom. Oh, that's so great. Tammy. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that stuff. I was just trying to remember your mom's name. It starts with a P, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. It's is it Jeannie? Oh, I can't remember your mom's name. I'm so sorry. I just blanked. Moromi's here. If Shanth isn't painting, why am I here? That's so glad to see you, man. Well, hopefully you're here to see some painting, my friend. It is great to see. Was it Jeannie? Janine, that's what it was. Janine. Thank you, Tammy. I'm sorry I forgot. Oh, yeah, I said TMNT. Lord knows. Yeah, so you're going to appear suddenly, right? Oh, yeah, guys. So, and I probably can't get to it because everything's a bit of a mess today. I was just going through all this stuff, trying to make it as a little less avalanche-y, if that's a word and if that even happened. What do I got here? Oh, I do have it. Nice. I can get to it. Hang on. Ugh. And I was thinking about, and I don't know what this is, because I think that's an 8.5 by 11. This is going to fall if I don't organize it right. I was thinking about this right here, man. Now, this is comic book sized, I think. The original was not. The original was an 8.5 by 11. But this book right here, man, this was... Oh, that was your mom's name? Stephen Rockwood Drawing? Oh, that's great. Yeah, Janine is a great name. I love that name. But this right here is the stuff to me that comics are made of. That sense of play. I was even looking at Frank Miller's 300 the other day and just thinking, man, like, just... that sense of play, and I know they were heavily influenced by Frank Miller's, Ronin and Daredevil stuff, obviously. But just these are the things I kind of miss in comics. Panels like this. Do you know what I'm talking about, Moromi? Like panels like that where you're hearing a backstory and then you have these free-floating characters. That's the stuff that... And I know Frank Miller actually was a huge influence on Todd and Rob Liefeld, Jim Lee, all those guys. So, I mean, it's not that his influence was a subtle thing. But, I mean, it's like just panels like that. I don't know if you guys remember this stuff, but, man, I can never forget it. I can never forget it. Being someone who was buying this stuff as it was coming out. And even, I mean, one of my favorite... And he just passed away this year, man. This is the thing that kills me. I'm going to grab this. Hang on one quick second, guys. Let me see if I can grab this without knocking too much stuff down. I probably will anyway. Where is it? And I don't think I've even opened this yet, but I didn't get it to not read it, I'll tell you that, so I may open it now. But, this is, hey, Eric just became a channel member. Awesome, Eric. It's great to see you, man. Yes, I remember the Return to New York, Bordeaux. 100%. Eric, I got to celebrate you. This is a cheerleader for you, Eric Winberg.
Charge! Charge!
It is great to see you, brother, and I will keep showing you guys cool stuff. Don't you worry, Eric. That's on the menu, my friend, and welcome, and thank you for becoming a channel member. So, this book right here, I don't know if any of you guys remember Michael Zulli's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Soul's Winter. This was a lovingly... I actually went and spent the money to get the black and white Mirage edition because IDW colored it, and then it's also in one of their omnibus that I have over there. But because of the way it was drawn, every generation of scan, the lines get a little bit thicker. Do you guys know what I mean? And this piece of artwork I don't think was available. So this was the Mirage edition of it. And let me see if I can show this. He's just a heck of an artist, but look at that, guys. Look at that. This is the care that goes into this. Do you know what I mean? And we lost this guy this year, and I know I'm not trying to be, this is sincere. So I was working on another comic book, was sort of like an homage to, hey, Mike, I see you in the chat, brother. Good to see you, man. I was working on an homage to TMNT that was an idea I had a while ago. I still don't know exactly what I want to do with it. But I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if I could get a piece of artwork from Michael Zulli? And then I read, and I'm sure if you guys follow me on X, you saw me post something about it, but it's like sometimes I just get a bad feeling. Like I ordered a bunch of Jason Pearson stuff right before I found out that he had passed away. And then I ordered all this Michael Zulli stuff, and then I just went on X. It was like artist Michael Zulli was passed away, and I was like, oh man, it hit me, man. It really hit me. But this is a completely different take on the Turtles. And it's just like the way that he drew them on that what's it called? Oh God, graphics duo shade paper where you get the Zipatone to come out with developer. It was just so cool and so crazy. I'd never seen anything like this before. And that's what comics are to me. That chance to see. I've never seen anything like this, man. So let me see here. Tammy D celebrating 15 months of membership. Wow, time flies. Man, I'm going to get into comics now. Yes, you are. Much love to you and your family and chat family. Absolutely, Tammy. And let me just say to Janine, to yourself, to all of your family, to you and yours, I'm wishing you guys, of course, a Merry Christmas. I'm sure I will see you before Christmas, but please wish everyone in your family a Merry Christmas, and especially yourself. I appreciate your support so much, Tammy. I can't overstate it. And allow me to just say this.
Charge! Charge!
Much love indeed, Tammy. You know that. Everybody in my household knows you, Tammy. We love you, Tammy. Mighty Geek Studios is your Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry Christmas to you, Mighty Geek Studios. It is great to see, and Jeremy Birds, channel member and OG. It is great to see you in the house, Jeremy Birds. So yeah, so this was some of the stuff that was possible. In addition to that, you had during the Mirage years, you had Simon Bisley. You guys are getting me into a TM. This is gonna happen. Is Eric Weathers? Where's Eric Weathers? When I have a Ninja Turtles conversation, I feel like Eric Weathers just appears. Hang on a second. Here we go. All right, so, and I'd better move these because these will. My wife always laughs when the few times she sees these streams. She goes, "So wait a second, you move your comic books when you're showing." Yeah, jeez, I just dropped my other headphone. There I go. Ugh. Oh no, I am too cramped into the space, guys. Whew. All the blood just went to my head. But it's one of those things where when I she gets mad because I will lay things down on top of my I'll move my comics, but I won't move my artwork when I'm putting stuff down. But I'll move it this time because this is actually a fairly heavy and fairly solid book. So let me move these over here. This right here is a massive compendium of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, right? And I'm gonna hurt myself. It's just gonna happen at some point. But here's what's cool. This collects things kind of in order, so you get some of the fill-ins. Beautiful, by the way. It comes with a ribbon in it and everything. But you get things in this that are what's the word I'm looking for? You get things in this book that are not the continuity stories. You get things that are some of the more crazy stories in here as well. There is, of course, Return to New York, which we were just talking about. This is a great collection if you like seeing them in the original black and white. But look at this insanity, guys. Look, this is what I want to do with comics, with Springball. Like, I want to do stuff like this, like the Rocketeer, like all of that stuff. Like, that is... Like, even though the new Springball stuff is going to be completely different in terms of how I'm printing it, it's going to be a lot more, and how I'm illustrating it. Boy, I cannot find... Where on earth did I put that? Not there. Is it there? Yeah. So, this, like, these are the fun things we get to do. These are the crazy things that we get to do. And I just like, look at this, man. If you haven't backed Nosfero, the link is in the top of the chat. And I'm guessing most of you guys probably have. But this is the stuff that I want to be doing in comics. Like, I've even found myself working on their projects that I haven't even done anything with. I don't know if I'll ever do anything with them. They're just explorations in some cases. Let me see if I can find it. Is that it? Oh, yeah. Here's an example of other styles of work I do. This. I'm pretty sure I've shown this on stream, but have you guys ever seen my ink wash and white paint style I do? I don't know if I've shown this to you guys. If you're a channel member, you can see this story. It's in the channel members only posts. So I've got some stuff from this little sketch story I've been working on. But guys, I'm like a dyed-in-the-wool comic book guy, comic book artist. Like, this is the stuff that I do, that I get excited about when I'm working. And I don't even know where I have half of this stuff, because I've just got, guys, there's just piles of books here. I mean, I think I'm gonna die in an avalanche of books at some point. It's just a matter of time. I don't know if this one isn't it, because it, or is it? No, I don't think it is. Is it? Oh, it is. Oh, that's weird. God, this is so dusty. Oh man, if you are a lover of art and art conservation, you would be 100% disgusted by how the stuff is piled up in my studio. So I actually had the crazy idea of doing this, just illustrating some work in a book, like as if I was just drawing it into a book in order, which is so silly. And so this is me taking a Strathmore media / watercolor journal. Let's see if I can get that angled right. And just drawing a comic book in it. With like, just I'm gonna just do a stream of consciousness comic book. And this was my stream of consciousness comic book, inspired by the legends and folklore of the Mononongal. I think, I'm not positive, but Shane did talk to me one time, like we were talking about the idea of me doing a short story, and I sent him this stuff, and I said, yeah, I could do some cool black and white stuff for colors, or something like that, but, yeah, I mean, I know I'm going to probably end up doing something with Shane at some point, probably train-related, if I'm honest. It's probably just going to be model trains, but this is the thing that makes this stuff so fun, is I'm just creating this thing as I go. Like, I'm just going, all right, so what's this going to be? And he's going to show up, and he's going to be in an arena. And there's going to be this, and maybe I'll put this as like a backup feature in something or a sketchbook. I don't know. I've got a lot of art, guys, kicking around here. A lot of art. And so then these he's in this gladiatorial arena, and there's this battle scene where these sort of like dragons being rode by these creatures come out of the ground, kind of like the tigers in Gladiator. And then it's kind of like a little bit of a bloody action tale right there. And he's taking them down, so it's flashbacks. It's sort of flashbacks between this experience and his childhood, where his mother is bitten by and attacked by a Mononongal, and she becomes one. And so that's him seeing her becoming one, and then she attacks him. And the story of the Mononongal is absolutely terrifying if you don't know it. But it's a Filipino myth, and it's rough. It's brutal. And so I wanted to do something that was like that and have some fun with like the crazy hatching and stuff like that I was trying to do. And then of course we go back to this sequence right here where he's taking out most everybody. And then a gigantic axe comes down, like right by him, because I wanted to play around with scale for this story. And so this huge axe comes down, and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, he's just defeated this guy, and then the next page is this, with this huge sort of crazy creature, and he's sort of standing in the shadows of its footprint. And then it's like this other guy's coming down. Yeah. So that was something I was just trying out. And so just getting back to Ninja Turtles, the thing that I like about Ninja Turtles is, and what they were doing, Mirage Studios was doing for Ninja Turtles, is they were just exploring everything, and that's what I like to do. I like to... Oh, sorry, I just realized I went to a smaller book here, so I should zoom so you guys can see it a little bit, or move the camera closer. So one of the things I just love about this book is that they were bringing in different artists. They were really playing around with different styles, different media, had all this really cool grit. And then they would have, as you get to the later stuff, you would just have way more experimental, kind of crazy indie stuff. And this book, I remember I got this book, and I remember seeing this stuff. Look at this craziness of these covers that Mirage was doing. But I remember getting this and being like, what the heck is this? It was just nuts, man. And you never knew where this stuff was going. And there was just this cool sense of play. The Ninja Turtles were almost like an anchor that you could go anywhere with. And I think that's a really cool idea but this is the main series. That's what was so cool about it. So you would see things like that. You would see, where is it? I think there's a second part to that story. And then you get this. Then you get Michael Zulli's 3-issue story. And it's like, what is this? I remember seeing this in the store, and I'm like, what is this? So yeah, I mean, Soul's Winter was just a wild, poetic, story. And then this is like the issue after that. And it's in this particular style. I mean, it's not a continuation. That the Soul's Winter stuff, comes back, for it's its own self-contained story. But you just see the brilliance and the craziness of what's possible in comic books. And I love the fact that they were playing around with doing things in color and just, I mean, guys, doesn't this get you excited about comics, man? And then, of course, what's great about these volumes is you get to see behind-the-scenes stuff like layouts for the covers, and they've done a really good job. Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird both, but Eastman's been working a lot with these folks have done a great job of saving all of their layout pages. And I know there's folks that want me to, show the layout pages or publish the layout pages for Spring Ball, which I know there's some, not Spring Ball, sorry, for Nosfero, because there's some of them have been published in the books, and you can still get them published in the books, but let me see if I can find it. So for those of you guys who are Razor Fist fans, right? So Razor Fist, it's funny, Razor Fist is, I was talking to him, oh, better erase, I think I have my mother-in-law's phone number here. Written down on my layouts. But when I sent Razor Fist this sketch, he really liked it, but I wanted to do something more with it. So if you're a Razor Fist fan and you like Ghost of the Badlands, this was the first sketch I sent Razor Fist for Ghost of the Badlands. And then I just sort of wanted to do something that was a little bit more Pale Rider and reduce what was happening here. Let me just raise this up so you guys can get a real look at my crazy messy desk. Hang on. And right about there. There we go. So this was my first sketch for Ghost of the Badlands. And then there was, where is it? The second sketch where I reduced all that stuff because I really wanted to emphasize certain things. And so this was more my Pale Rider sketch version of it, right? And so every step of the way, you guys may recognize this was some of the initial sketch work of me playing around with ideas for Nosfero. This is in the back of the first edition of the book. So there's the appearance of the diaphanous nightgown, but also of werewolves and what could that be. This was a version of the Nosfero. Should I release a book at some point of just the story behind the scenes work that never got used? Maybe I could use that black and white story in it. I just don't know if there's an audience enough to support it. But anyway, so yeah, so that was a sketch for Nosfero. There goes my dang headphones again. Ugh. There we go. And so then these were sketches for head sketches from backers. So someone had the Creature of the Black Lagoon. Here's a sketch for the bookmark. Let me see here. What is that? Are these Spring Ball sketches? I don't know what those are. Let me see. Here are some sketches for Nosfero, Death Will Die. You've seen me working on some of those. Now, this one's got a little tear in it. Must have been in the wars here. So these are some sketches that are, I think these are in the back of Nosfero. So these are from book 1. So that's one of those things that, that I've got as, as a sketch. Here's another sketch for another story idea that I'm developing. Here's a sketch that's the last sketch you see in the back of Nosfero. I don't know if Michael even knows what this is a sketch for. He probably doesn't. And that's a sketch for a hellishly complicated painting. Let's see, what else have I got here? Tons of stuff. Oh, that's weird. I don't even know what this is. This was a sketch for another thing I was working on. I still haven't figured out what it is. Let's see. This is a sketch here for where I was trying to figure out something for Razor Fist's second novel. I was doing a sketch there. This is a painting of Rob's replicator character. Here's another sketch for an illustration for Razor Fist's character from the Night Vale series. God, I should probably start getting rid of these things. Here's another character sketch for an idea that I had. I'm not sure where this is going. There's a sketch for the boat for the Lucent piece. I just wanted to take a look at the boat on its own. What else have I got here? Man, this is a lot of stuff. I don't even know where all the hell this stuff comes from. It's a miracle that it's still surviving, for heaven's sake. So yeah, so there's just a lot of... And then, of course, you've got the sketch right here for the painting that's going to be in the oxidized edition. The link is in the description. It's the first link there. So you're going to be able to see this in the oxidized edition of Nosfero. So there it is from sketch. And then there's the work on the finish, where you can see all of that delicate Art Nouveau detail. And that's the thing that makes this stuff so fun, and so exciting for me. And I'm doing I got commissioned to do a painting for Lloyd Burton. He reached out to me. He's been asking me for a little bit, and I don't usually take commissions for things, but Lloyd's a special case, and he knows that because Lloyd's just we've talked back and forth about it, and so I said if I have an idea in time, I'm going to do it. So this is a sketch for Lloyd Burton's painting that I'm working on right now, and that's the stuff that's fun, man. You know, when you meet kindred spirits, and you know, you guys back in Nosfero and moving it, we're almost to 200 backers right now on that. I think we're at 194 backers right now, and that's the thing that's cool. And so when I'm doing a sketch for, you know, an acrylic on canvas painting that's going to be large like this, this is the canvas. I can't fit it all on screen. It's a pretty big, if you can tell, it's a pretty big painting. But this is where that stuff goes. You know, like this is the first sort of color glazing passes to try to make the detail work and to try to rough in the figure. Like this is the stuff that to me is what I always want to share with you guys, because I think, you know, I was talking to my wife about, we were talking about Bob Ross today. We were talking about just people who just really have brought a lot of positivity. I was talking about Charles Kuralt and his CBS Sunday morning stuff earlier during the stream. But I think it's a pretty amazing world we live in, and I'm always grateful like that I've gotten as much time as I've gotten on it, because you know there were definitely times in my youth where that was you know, where you never know how things, if somebody had zigged instead of zagged. But a big thing about when you guys back Nosfero, you know, and you back it once, twice, some of you guys, like, it's like, I'm backing the art edition. No, I'm going to back the oxidized edition too. I'm going to back it with a print. Whenever you guys do that, every single dollar goes to making this work that I do and this art that I do possible. You know, handcrafting and everything like that. Lloyd, your painting is going to be, let me tell you something, brother. Your painting is going to be a poem. I mean, I've been doing just research on it, on dragons and textures, and I'm just, when I do a painting for somebody, when I do a book for somebody, when I package this stuff up, hopefully I didn't forget for some of you guys, because there were times I unpackaged boxes to make sure I did. I always write thank you, because I ship all of them myself on the cardboard, and it's so important to me that, yeah, like, that your guys aren't pre-ordering books. You guys are backing the creation of the book. That's what I need you guys for, so that, you know, we can live as a family, and that we can do the things that we do, and we can bring beauty, because there's so much opportunity for beauty, and there's so much beauty in this world that I really do think that it's the joy for me, and it's the job of artists to present the aesthetic experience to an audience, not the anesthetic experience that puts you to sleep, or the didactic experience that lectures you about how everything has to go, but the aesthetic experience where you crack open a book and you are confronted by beauty. Lloyd Burton, good night, my friend. Absolutely. Take care, brother. And God bless you, and thank you for all of your support. You are backing the creation of art 100%, man. 100%. You know, and 200% as well, Stephen Rockwood. But that really is what makes all this stuff happen. You know, and I want people, you know, just to see, you know, character interactions where you go, you know what, this is fiction, but that's true, you know, and you know, and I'll say this too as well. And Hail Wishmaster, it's great to see you, my friend. If you haven't read it yet or listened to it in a while, one of the books I have a facsimile copy of over there, that's one of my favorite books of all time. I have an action figure from this book, thanks to the Four Horsemen and their figure obscura, is A Christmas Carol, and it is a Christmas ghost story that teaches you, or that teaches and really articulates the meaning of Christmas. And I know we've done this on streams, but the word count of that book is so short, and it's a short book to have redefined Christmas for the folks in England, and then as it spread out to the world, as this time of lifting people up and inviting people to your table, and just inspiration. And that book is a big inspiration for me, because it's a genre bending story. It's an uplifting story, but it's a ghost story for Chris. Again, I can't stop saying that because it's so brilliant. And it's about the power of change, that people are not chained to who they've always been, that it's a time of renewal where you can have a change in spirit and also encounter some spirits. And I just keep and to reflect on things, and not in a way that's depressing or demeaning. You know, so often, man, so often, and this is what my work I never want my work to be about this, is that we take times of reflection to make to get ourselves sucked into the past and get depressed for what is past, as opposed to times of reflection of all the things you've overcome, of all the changes you've met, and of the brightness of the present. And that's what Christmas is always a reflection of me for, is seeing the joy on people's faces and seeing that opportunity to lift people's spirits up just a little bit. It could be as simple as a thank you. It could be as simple as just wishing somebody a Merry Christmas. And it's and for me, that's what comics can do for me. That's what storytelling does for me, and that's what we do here, you know, with these streams, is just trying to bring that positivity to what we're doing. And to me, positivity is not a weak thing. Positivity is a strong thing. The people I look at, you know, if you need to know, you know, what Dickens's childhood was like, it was a horror show. It was some rough stuff. Okay, Lovecraft's wasn't much better. You know, so many of these authors, for God's sake, R.E. Howard, and yet still they struggled against that to bring something beautiful into this world, and that's what we're all doing here. You know what I mean? We're lifting our chins up, and we're thinking about the people that we helped and the people we've done things for. You know, and I think that's the thing that's crazy. You know, and I see all of you guys. I know this. You know what's so funny, and this is hokey, but I'm going to share it anyway because it's me, and you guys know what you're getting when you come in here. So one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time, of course, is It's a Wonderful Life. So much so that the name of the film brand that he put on his stuff was Liberty Films, and that's why my stuff always has Made with Liberty in the USA on it. And in the end, when this guy who's given up and has all of these people who are praying for him and hoping for him and want the chance to help him, he's just not good at asking for help. He's great at giving help, terrible at asking for help. So he doesn't know the goodwill that's all around him. And he's in this utterly horrific financial bind that's just both a happenstance and also the malevolence of a character, you know, in the story, you know, Mr. Potter. And he's brought home, and he's given a glimpse of what people's lives would have been without him being there. And then all these people come together, and they're all like, we're going to help you. You don't need to worry about the money. All these people come together and with pennies, with their jars or whatever. And they say, dude, you've helped me so many times. I'm here to help you. And he just can't even believe it, man. He can't even believe it. And it's like, that's, if you guys don't think that crosses my mind when I launch a campaign, and when I look at a campaign and see, oh, there's more people backing this campaign, like, it does. All the time. All the time. I go, it's such a beautiful reminder of people, you know, just supporting the making of art and the things that are, like, all of you guys who become channel members too. My God, man. I think about that all the time. And Eric, thank you for becoming a channel member today. I always wake up in the morning and I think my cup runneth over, man. That's how it is. And I'm so grateful for the ability I have, you know, that I've worked to develop, but just the God-given aspect of it, and that I get to share it with you guys means the world to me. So I appreciate you all. And I hope you know that. I hope you guys know that this season. Stephen Rockwood drawing saying, it's actually weird how Ray Milland, the actor in Dial M for Murder, looks so much like Jimmy Stewart. You're right, but it's but isn't even related to him. Absolutely. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Tammy D. And I hope you're thinking about all of the good that you've done for people over your career and in your life, because it's not something to ever let yourself forget. It's an amazing thing. Yeah, I still don't fully like the movie because he gives up on his dream. Yeah, it's true. It's tough. But you know what's so funny is and what he realizes in looking back on it is, never be so sure of what you want that you wouldn't settle for something better. And Zuzu's pedals are a hell of a dream. You know, that's the thing about friends. I always say this: as creative as I get, I could never have come up with or imagined a million years my friends and the people I've met who I can't live without. And I couldn't imagine my life if they weren't in it. And that's something that happens outside of us, but it's there and it's incredible, man. It's an incredible thing. I watched It's a Wonderful Life last night. Hail, awesome one. Yeah, it's a special kind of movie because it's like we just and I love that message in it, which is each life touches so many other lives without even knowing it, thinking about it, and that's the beauty of it, man. Oh, I didn't see it till I was older. I'd seen parts of it and I never watched it through. It's a powerful flick. It's a powerful flick. Kind of like how Rod Taylor from The Time Machine looks so much like, yes, a young Rob. He does. You're right. Wow, I never thought of that. That's perfect. Hello, awesome one, says Jeremy Burtz. All right, guys, we've been going for about 2 hours now. 2 hours and 18 minutes. Wow, we're doing well, guys. I needed to get back in here. I needed to paint with you guys. Even though my nose is a little stuffed up, I'm sorry. I needed to share art and hang out because you guys are inspiring and fun to be around. And I hope you've had a good time hanging out here while we paint. I'm going to update the channel members credits list. So a lot of you guys should be on there, but I'm going to have to add some new names, obviously, and things like that. I will make sure I get that done before the next stream. But thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you guys very much. And as I like to say, from the heart of Lovecraft country, in the birthplace of American religious liberty, my name is Shanth Enjeti. This is Shanth Enjeti Art. Go back Nosfero if you haven't yet. Lots of exciting things to look forward to in 2025. One of the things I'm looking forward to most, of course, is spending more time with you guys streaming. Merry Christmas to you all. And I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. And again, as I like to end every stream, speak easy, stay gold, keep the faith, and let's see if I can remember how to do it. Peace be with you guys. I appreciate you so much. Lots of cool stuff coming. Yes, indeed. God bless you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Spaceman, Timmy Mello, Tammy D, Eric Winberg, Stephen Rockwood. Absolutely, guys. I will see you guys very soon. Skeleton Core Comics, Headless Bourgeoisie. It is great to see you guys. Take care. Michael Bancroft, it's great to see you, man. Cranberry Langers, it's great to see you. And yes, indeed, I'll wish her a Merry Christmas for you guys. Creative Faye. Yes, indeed, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yes, indeed, sneaking in right in the nick of time, man. Oh, my gosh. You guys are great. So thank you, and I will see you guys very, very soon. David D., it's great to see you, and hail to Hecklefish as well. And AJ, good people. Maromi, thank you so much. Thank you, Stephen Rockwood. I will see all of you guys very, very soon. Take care. Bye.